captives stayed here for almost 3 months. Now, the number of months you spend here will depend on the availability of a ship. Take care of them. Normally, they spent 3 months here before they were taken away. Yeah, when it comes to feeding, yeah, they were given food to eat sometimes once or twice in a day. Very short history about the castle. When we are through with this, then we start walking around. We are in the St. George's Castle with the popular name Elmina Castle because it is located in Elmina. Now, in the year 1482, the Portuguese built it, but the thing is, as far back as 1471, the Portuguese started arriving here. When they came, they were trading with our locals, and that was the barter trade. That was exchanging goods for goods. The Portuguese over here were giving the locals guns, gunpowder, tobacco, liquor, and other materials. And our locals here will exchange them with gold, ivories, and other precious items. In fact, the gold was so much, and this gave the Portuguese a mindset that this whole land we have here is in abundance of gold. So they named the area Elmina, and that means the gold mine. But this was corrupted or mispronounced to be Elmina, and that has come to stay. Edena is another name for the town, but that is also a Portuguese word. The actual word is aldeia, and that means village in Portuguese language. This was also corrupted to be Edena, and that has also come to stay. But that should not tell us that Elmina never had a name at all before the Portuguese got here. Elmina's traditional name or first name is Anomansa, and I want us to pronounce it Anomansa. It's a Ghanaian word. That means Inswa Enoma Onsa. Inexhaustible water, or the more you drink, more is coming out. Now, this water we are talking about is the lagoon just below the main bridge over there, where we have the boats and the canoes. That is the history behind it. Enoma Onsa. Now, in the course of the barter trade, there was that need for the Portuguese to have a permanent place to keep their goods. So their leader, by name Captain Don Diego Diaz Zambuja, he contacted our king Nana Kwame Answer the First, and he gave them that permission to build this castle in 1482. In those times, all these rooms we have down here were warehouses. In these warehouses, they kept their incoming goods, like the clothes, the mirror, the schnapps, and the outgoing ones, like the gold and ivories. However, around the year 1503, that was in the early 16th century, when the slave trade started, all these warehouses we have down here were now converted to be slave dungeons. That's where they kept the enslaved Africans. And at a point in time, there were 1,000 captives, 600 men and 400 women minimum, every 3 months. briefly, I want us to have a look into how they got most of the captives into the dungeons. Now, the Europeans captured some of them on their own, and that was false capture. For example, you may send your daughter to buy you something on the streets. By the time you realize she has been stolen, and you have no idea where your daughter is. Now, some of the Europeans also had a collaboration or a link with some of the Africans. These guys were slave raiders. Now, that's what they do. Sometimes they can get to some village somewhere and set the village on fire with guns, cutlasses, and other dangerous weapons. They leave people ambush. Spark who are running for their lives, they capture them, especially the women and the children. But you see, if we are to know of the largest way by which they had a lot of them in here, then that was through the effects of inter-tribal wars. Right now in Ghana, there are many tribes, but no matter our differences, we all see ourselves as one people. But in those times, that was not so, because usually there were wars among the tribes. Now, for example, if tribe A defeats tribe B, most of the tribe B people were captured. And most of these people who were brought here, they were victims of wars. Victims of wars. Now, there were also cases of deception or tricks. For example, a ship captain can tell a chief that we are having some party on the ship. So he, the chief, should bring some of his people to the palace. Let's enjoy ourselves on the ship. After the party, get back to your palace. Now the chief brings them and they get them heavily drunk and they seal them away. Deception. That was what happened. Now, around the year 1637, the Dutch fought the Portuguese in the castle, defeated them, and they took over the castle in 1637. And in the year 1872, the Dutch sold the castle to the British. That were no fights. Now, the Portuguese, they lived in this castle for 155 years. The Dutch lived here for 235 years, and the British were here for 85 years until the year 1957, when Ghana had the independence. As we stand right now, Elmina Castle, this is the oldest and the largest European building in the whole world when we talk about the slave trade. Right now, Elmina Castle is 539 years old, and we are still counting. So this is a brief history about Elmina Castle. Now, initially, all these rooms down here were warehouses, but when the slavery started, this was where they put the enslaved African women. We are the female slave dungeons. Now, please, these clothes and chains we have here. On July 2016, an exhibition was held in this castle with the title, The Return of the Slaves. About 60 people from Ghana, Nigeria, UK, USA, DR Congo, they came and slept here for 12 hours. From 6 in the evening to the following morning, they used the clothes to cover their waist and the chains for their arms and feet. And in fact, people from many countries, they came down here to observe it. 12 hours in the slave dungeon, the return of the slaves. However, all these materials we have here, they are not original, just for the exhibition 2016. And during the program, they put kerosene in this and lit match for lights. However, during the slavery time, some of the captives, they were partially blind because almost every time they were living in darkness. Alright. Now there are some metals over here. These are the original iron bars. After these iron bars were all here, and because of the rust, most of them are destroyed. So they have replaced them with these wooden bars. But these are the original iron bars. Please, let's come in here. Can I check? Yes, you can. Yeah. female captives here. Almost 150 women were lying on this floor. In those times, there were two receptacles or containers. One put over there and another kept over there at the corner. What happens is, if you want to go to the toilet, you get up and you visit. You want to vomit or urinate, you use those containers over there. But the challenge was, when we look at the health problems, it was also bad. Some of them were very weak and could not get up from where they were to visit those two containers to ease themselves. So right now, the weak ones, they were practically going to toilet on this floor, urinating on the floor, vomiting on the floor. When they have their menses, they have all their menstrual blood scattered all over the floor, mixed up with the toilet, vomit and everything. And they were still sleeping in there. And in fact, we can never imagine at all that kind of heat and the bad smell that was coming from the whole sleep engines. And what I normally say is, in our very urinals, if you don't clean the place for 3 days, on the 4th time, you cannot stand the smell. And I come to imagine toilet, urine, vomit, menstrual blood, all mixed up together with human beings sleeping in them. That was very, very terrible. Please,
is this the floor or no floor?
So the only difference is all these adventures are original. Only difference with the cement fillings. At first they were not there. This hole we have, that was one of their sources of air. But the problem was this hole was connected to this room magazine. They kept gunpowder and gun tea. So anytime there was a leakage, all the gunpowder, toxic fumes would rush in here and pollute the air. Already they were sleeping their mess. And the toxic fumes coming in, it made it worse. Some died. They pick your body up and dump you to the sea. So there's wreath of flowers. Sometimes when the visitors come, they bring them along to pay respect to those who are gone. Please, does somebody have a question?
So you say this was the only source of
This was one of
the sources?
Yes, also yeah.
Was this
They were just like that. But the only difference is back then they were iron bars, but right now they are wooden bars. But air came from here, the other side. But the middle one here, there was a gate closing this area. Now the captives stayed here for almost 3 months. Now the number of months you spend here will depend on the availability of a ship. Take it away. Normally they spent 3 months here before they were taken away. Yeah, when it comes to feeding, yeah, they were given food to eat, sometimes once or twice in a day. But the issue was some of the captives, they just wanted to die and just leave the system. So some refused to eat. And on the ships, there was this mouth opener for force feeding, speculum orange, and I'll show you. They fix your mouth, skew with your mouth opens, and they give the frog by force. And I'll show you the picture of that mouth opener before we leave the castle. Let's see what happened outside this
I have a question.
Yes, my sister.
How did they keep track of the slaves? By name, by number? How did they keep track of the people here after they caught them?
Yeah, that is an excellent question. What I normally say, in fact, with our, it's more with oral. Pass from one generation to another. That's how we get most of our information. So in terms of documentation, it's a little bit challenge. Yeah, that's what I would say. For most of them oral, from one generation to pass on to another. Yeah, and that normally goes.
Okay.
Let's come here. Portuguese water reservoir. Okay, do you see that black pipe over there? Black pipe, another pipe here. When the Portuguese were here, they would connect them around the castle in a way that anytime it is raining, rainwater will upstream and enter the water reservoir. What you see here, it is not connected to the sea. This is harvested rainwater. Now, I was saying that in the year 1637, the Dutch fought the Portuguese here and they took over. When the Dutch came here, they thought that the Portuguese have poisoned this water. Yeah, the Dutch never used it. Yeah, they built their own. And I'll show you. Just underground, the museum, all underground is that water where you entered. The soldiers who were here, the traders and the governors, they were raping the women because back then they don't come with your own wives. For this castle, if a governor wants to rape a woman with his beer or wine, come and stay up here. Let's have a look there. That was the governor's bar. He stays up there and he sees all the soldiers to start opening all the doors. Come and line up. While they were he being up there, will now look and choose the woman he wanted to rape. In fact, some of the women who were chosen were menstruating, but still that's what the governor wanted. They fetch water here and they clean you. They make you eat and they take you to the governor's bedroom. According to the history, only the men this staircase we have, this is the private access to the governor's bedroom. All the female captives who were chosen walked up here. And there is a secret door up there. It's a trap door. They pull it up. The woman walks up, enters the bedroom, and they close it. As you all go up, I will show you the secret door. After raping them, they bring all of them back into the dungeons still as captives. In fact, because of the rape cases, some of the women, they got pregnant. And their situation, they could not live in the dungeons. But one thing was the European traders who were here. Some of them built stone houses outside the castle where they send these pregnant women to give birth. And as they give birth and the child is 4 years, they bring the children back to the castle where they educate them. But in Ghana here, most of our formal education started with the castle schools before they were moved outside. And apart from that, in Africa here, sometimes you will see some of our brothers and sisters. If you look at the skin color, it's very light. That's a light colored skin. And apart from this, there are some European names on the coastland. You may hear a name like De Heer. There is Van Dyke, Van der Poel, Da Costa, Da Silva. There is Vroom, Vieira. We have Wilberforce, Peterson, Hutchison, Johnson, Lamson, Robertson, Fryson, and in fact all the other saints. Just a few months ago, I heard of another name, Appleton. Yeah, and I learned that in Jamaica. But you see, it was not all the female captives who were selected here who moved up to the bedroom. Some of them, no matter what you do, she will not go up. And they were punished for disobeying the governor. Let's see what happened to them. This ball we have here, there's a cannon ball. 8 of these balls were here. There were chains here. These chains were fixed at the feet of the women who didn't go up. When you are here, no water to drink, no food to eat. Rain or shine, day or night. You are here in chains. And this treatment was given to them so that the other women inside, as they see that they become afraid, never to disobey the government. This cannon ball we have. It weighs 25 kilograms. It cannot run away. That was the punishment for them. not such a danger. Nobody slept here. It's a passing place. You have this inscription here. Slave exit waiting boat. Meaning, whenever you step here, there is a waiting boat for you. Please go to the full torchlight as for enter here. One step down.
Okay, so are these ratings original or?
It's not original. That's put there to show where the money pass. Please one step down. Please stand here for me on your step. On your step. On your step. On your step. Okay. Now, if you have a quick look here, we have Coke, we have water, we have milk, we have schnapps. All our people, when they come, they bring fish, bread, banana, and so on. Visitors who come here have different beliefs. Some still have that strong belief that still the spirits of the ancestors are here, and they can get something to drink or eat. That's why we have these items over here. Anytime the ships arrive, all the enslaved African men, they pass through here and they enter the room of the 10. Now this is where the female captives passed. But at first this was a staircase. It was steps. Yes. We are going to see the room of no return. Please mind your steps, mind your head, bend very, very low. That's it. Okay, then low. Very low. Very low. Very low. Very low. I told you to bend low. Just give a look that you are going to hit your head. Many of them accidentally hit because they had no idea this structure was here. And when your hit on a wet rush, it's extremely painful. We are in a room of no return. That is the door of no return. All the captives passed through this door. But in those times, the sea was close to the castle. But right now it has gone backwards. There were smaller boats or canoes. Smaller boats, okay, that were brought here. And there was a staircase here. So all the captives in chains, all the captives in chains will get onto the smaller boats and they are transported to the wharf. I will show you. That was where the bigger ships were anchoring. They take them there and they arrange them in and they are taken away to places like America and the Caribbean islands like Jamaica, Haiti. And as we stand right now, it is throughout this door and other reasons that explains why we have Africans scattered all around the world. This is one of the reasons. If you look back, these roots, flowers, people bring them to pay respect. Now we can observe that the size of the door is very small. This should not tell us that somehow the captives did not have weights. But because of the health challenges in the dungeons, people sleep in their own toilets, many grew slim or lean that they could pass through the door very easily. A room of no return and the door of no return.
So in a case of they, coming through this, like was there maybe a slave master or following them?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so meaning the slave masters were also,
around. Now, apart from that, when I told you to come, we all came individually, but back then it was not so. Like all of us will be chained to one chain and can only move as the chain can carry you. It's not so like that there. That was that. I'm going to have a quick picture of the door. You can, then you walk outside. Please, as you walk out, you mind your head. an old Dutch language. So remember, this Dutch governor, by name Governor Tex. Tex was from Zeeland, a province in Holland. Governor Tex. He was the last Director General of the Dutch West Indies Company. This man came here on 16 January 1758 and he died on 12 March the same year, only 3 months, January to March 1758. Governor Tex died at age 41, died of malaria. They buried him here, malaria. But you see, while he was here as a governor, there was a Dutch priest in this castle by name A. Andresi from a village in Holland. He wrote this short tribute for Governor Tex. He was describing Tex as honest and God-fearing. And it's only the priest A. Andresi who can explain to us why this man was God-fearing. When we look at the troubles of the captives back in the dungeons, Governor Tex, God-fearing. Yes, Tex. Please, these two small stars we have here, we are going to compare them. Let's stay in this. Let's enter here. Send the kingdom. This is the European soldier cell of the stubborn soldiers. Some left the castle with permission, others got so much drunk they were arrested and brought here for misbehaving. But in this cell, no one died. There was fresh air all over the place. Nobody died here. Now we are going to check the other cell too, but don't forget to keep with them some few seconds before I join you. Let's enter.
Yes. Condemned. No.
This is condemned cell. The enslaved African men who were fighting for their freedom, the freedom fighters. Anybody who was brought here died. He died because of heat and no water, no food. They pick your body up and dump him to the sea. Let's walk outside.
Now today, as all of you have gathered to the story, I'm going to tell you how.
Stay here for me, thank you. Now all these yellow bricks are from Holland. The red bricks from Portugal. Initially these bricks, they put them in their ships to serve as a ballast. They gave the ships extra weight for stability, balance on the sea. But when they come down, that's what they use to raise out the structure. Now when they are leaving, they take the gold, the captives, and the other precious items as weight for balance when they are leaving. Now the structure at the center is is the Portuguese church, first Roman Catholic church in this country. And you see, the whole world, every chapel has a symbol. There was a Roman Catholic tower on top. When the Dutch came here, they were not Catholics. The Dutch took away the tower and they divided the church into two. They used the upper hall as junior soldiers' mess. Soldiers were drinking and eating up there, and they used the hall below as a marketplace. That was where they were buying and selling the captives. When the British got in here, they converted the two halls to be classrooms for their policemen who were trained in this castle. But right now, it's a museum. And after I told you, this is the museum. Now, all the rooms are the ground floor now. You can see from the right, male slave dungeon. All the rooms down here were for the enslaved African men. And this first floor were rooms for soldiers, traders, and missionaries. First floor. The second floor, there was for the deputy governor, and the last one for governor himself. So in this castle, your position will tell you where you have to stay. The higher you are. You see the structure over there with the wood on top? Yeah, you have the same structure over there. They are watchtowers done by the Dutch. The Dutch put soldiers on top of them to watch over the castle for security. However, when the British got in here, they converted the rooms below them to be prisons. In that prison, they kept a popular Asante king by name Nana Prempe I. And in the other prison, they kept a popular Asante queen mother by name Ja Asantua. Now, Queen Mother Ja Asantua, when she was 60 years old, she led a war against the British for the protection of the Asante Kingdom golden stool. Now, this golden stool is believed to be the soul of the Asante Kingdom. The British wanted to take it away from them, but she stood at that age, 60, and fought them. They arrested her and brought her here for almost a year. Now, all of them were taken to exile in Seychelles Islands. But later, Nana Prempe was brought back to Ghana and made a king again. But for Queen Mother Yasantua, she died of old age in Seychelles. Later, her body was brought back to Ghana and buried. So that's Nana Prempe's hall and Queen Mother Yasantua's hall. Please, this wall here, that slants with the iron bar on top. They are the same wall there, and some of them around the castle. These are supporting walls done by the Dutch to support the walls for strengthening, for reinforcement. And the metals we see on top. In 1948, the British were here. They used this castle as a police training school. Every day, their policemen will run and go up, holding the metal, go up and come down, go up and come down, for training of the Muslims. And maybe at the end of the tour, you can also give a try of the exercise. That'll be ladies first. Let's come down.
Okay, so with the rooms, has there been
it has been replaced.
Okay.
Beautiful cross ventilation.
Yeah.
Please, at first, all these electrical stuff were not there. It's just recent. So it has been changed. Please walk slowly on the staircase. And also, there's the secret door. Amen. Yeah, so do you see the steps from down? Yeah. Good. Now let's come in here. So this is where the governor will stand and choose the women. Yeah, you. Hello, this is the governor's balcony. Where we stand to select the women. You wanted to read. All right, let's come in. Boy. This guy. There's a fireplace. This is oven. Please, this whole room here, plus the other one. The two is governor's kitchen for only one person. Wow. Dining hall as well come. Wow. That's it. There's the Dutch Reform Chapel where the Dutch worship appears in scripture, Psalm 1 verse 14. And what it means is Zion is the resting place of the Lord, and the Lord lives here forever.
God damn it.
But you see, the floor is a female dungeon. How the women were down there sitting their toilets and suffering down there because the church program Dutch Reform Chapel. And he said Psalm 122 verse 14.
Charlie, I saw him in Jericho.
Please mind your steps. We are coming down. Mind your steps.
Oh, Bobby, I saw him pass on I must worship God in my own spectacle.
The sea was close to the castle, but right now it has gone back. Please, look at your right. You see where we have that black item there? There's a black item over there. Do you all see?
In front of the sun.
Black item there. I think you have to shift here. So you can see that black item I'm talking about.
You see where the wood day?
I see.
Yeah, at our right.
Just before the road.
Yeah. You see that? The black item.
After the stones.
After which stones?
You see, say the road. After the stones, you know they see some black thing over there. Yeah.
That was the one where bigger ships were anchoring. Door of no return is just down here. So smaller boats, you take the captains from the door of no return here, take them over there. They were arranged into them and taken away. Cape Coast Castle is at the very tip. The structure at the tip is Cape Coast Castle. Only out there also you will see Elmina Castle.
Yeah.
We said food for Elmina Castle. In the year 1482, the Portuguese built it. In the year 1637, the Dutch fought the Portuguese here, defeated them, and they took over the castle. And in the year 1872, the Dutch sold the castle to the British. The Portuguese lived here for 155 years. The Dutch lived here for 235 years. And the British were here for 85 years. Right now, the castle is 539 years old. This tour that we did and all the history I told you, it is told to serve as a very big lesson for all of us. All of us here, in our own small way, we have to do the little that we can to protect the rights of our fellow brothers and sisters, so that this injustice will not repeat itself, although it is still happening in other forms. But I want to thank you very much for your cooperation. I wish all of you the safest and the most peaceful journey back home. So with this, I end this talk. I am Martin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.